Okay, here's Dino, the 91 Syncro, here to get redone. So made a few notes on the car. This rubber can be unscrewed and removed and it will be replaced. So the screws and such are important. I no longer have these mud flaps, so these holes can be filled. All of these seams here should be cleaned and sprayed with rust mort in all the seams, and then replace, and this should be scraped out right here anywhere that it's cracked, and then we'll replace that with seam sealer. This whole area on the back side of these 3 squares can have the material cut out and probably 2 inches all the way around or a little more, and sanded real well, because there's rust all over the back side of this, and the front side here needs to be taken care of. We're going to go ahead and weld in a piece of metal and shut that off. That vent will no longer be used. The fridge has been removed. And again, we want to take good care of these seams. So seam sealer in cracks, no Bondo. And a little bit of rust here on the back. This, of course, is a mess. So that's got to be cut out and replaced if I can't find a new hatch. Just a little bit of material here on the back. And these there's some holes that were here that were filled in by another body guy. They need to be just treated and get that rust removed and then primed. So right there on this side too. Looking pretty good overall. This piece comes off and this needs to be taken off and removed, and then there's a lot of rust up under here, very commonplace, so that needs to be sanded and treated to get that rust off and sprayed with rust mort. This is all pretty good, and fill those holes. And the other kind of area of major concern is underneath the front. There's just a lot of spaces that need some rust treatment with rust mort and sanding. Up in here and over in there. Just all in these rails on both sides. Needs to be done. These square brackets can be removed. They were welded on. These up here, I don't really care if you take them off or leave them. Doesn't really matter to me. And a little more rust here, some up there, underneath, and all along here, and up there. Those are the major areas. And then if we can make sure we tape off all these little screws and pieces when we do the undercoating, that'd be great. So a little bit of rust on the back side of this that I just personally sanded off actually. And then up here, this front area takes a lot of abuse and has a lot of rust in it. And last but not least, inside the door here, the floorboard area. This is rusty here. So if this could be sanded up, that's pour 15, just kind of redone and checked to take care of any existing rust there. There's a little bit of rust right there to be hit. And then we're going to spray the inside. This thing needs to be cleaned really good, and we're going to spray any piece of sheet metal like this, and in the front, on the dash, and on the floorboards, and down here across the middle, probably right to the back, including that firewall, but not up on top of the firewall. And then the inside of the doors there, looks like they could be treated a little bit. It's weird. And then that, all those door panels, that outside metal, and back in those triangular holes, I'd like to have that shot with lizard skin. Same thing on the hatch there in the back. Just shoot that all with lizard skin, and just keep it off of all the door hardware and things like that. This hardware can come off, and that we want to keep that right there. Make sure that that label stays and is protected. And the one thing I haven't decided on is whether we want to take off that wallpaper or not. That stock wallpaper certainly will need to be cleaned. Also, I want to have the whole inside painted gray so it looked like it was stock. So we probably want to take off those snaps and clean up that roof and paint that roof as well underneath there. And then the top needs to come off, and it's got probably some rust all over the top there as well. And then the gutters, I want to have that plastic taken off and cleaned up and then replaced. That should do it. This should give a good guide. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Appreciate your hard work, guys. Thanks.